future sister-in-law, the lovely Allie. We couldn't be happier. Congratulations. So Ellis, of course, he had his wedding website up and running before he even met Allie. So I don't care how girly she thinks she is. He is the absolute queen of their relationship. And I know how important this weekend is to him, which is why we want to thank you all for traveling to be here. And thank you to Dad and Mom for this beautiful Bayou-themed rehearsal dinner. And thank you to their friends here tonight who helped with the crafting. The swamp monster is truly terrifying. So well done. Thank you.
Hi guys, as Jon said, I am Maddie and I'm the youngest of the Reavey clan. And Jon and I were really honored when Ellis asked us to say a few words tonight. His exact words were, I think the other siblings are going to be saying something, so you probably should too. And he also added on, don't do anything weird. Which is basically the dynamic between the three of us in a nutshell. Jon and I have idolized Ellis since we were very, very young. And Ellis has reluctantly acknowledged our existence in public. Jon and I have been copying everything that Ellis does. From the sports he plays to the music he listens to, from the college that he went to.
Woo!
And then for Jon, stealing every item of his clothing down to his underwear since he was a child.
Even the dirty ones.
So you can imagine that after watching somebody so closely for so many years, we're kind of experts on all of the changes that Ellis has gone through that led him to this weekend and that led him to beautiful Allie.
So we both met Ellis in the 80s. And in the course of the last 30 plus years, as Maddie said, we've watched him go through many personal transformations. I say transformations because unlike most people who change gradually, Ellis's approach to personal growth has been to periodically completely redefine everything about himself. He doesn't take up new interests. He becomes his interests. This guy leans in hard. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure of watching the many evolutions of Ellis from beginning, here's your primer, told through some of his most cherished artifacts. Starting in 1994 to 1998, Ellis enters peak MC Hammer fangirl phase. He walked around our house and neighborhood, rapping to himself, carrying a Walkman, and wearing multicolored harem pants. He also named our hamster after MC Hammer. And when my dad climbed up on the roof to fix our chimney, Ellis was overheard telling the neighborhood kids who watched that if his dad fell off, his mom would marry MC Hammer, and he would get all of the MC Hammer CDs before they even came out.
2001 to 2002. Ellis redefined preppy in high school. During this phase, he purchased hair highlighter to give his black hair blonde tips. He took his high school photo in a black turtleneck.
That was Bob.
And could often be spotted in the hallways wearing a Burberry scarf, non-ironically.
(2003 through 2004), Ellis enters his skater boy phase. On the field, he was an all-American lacrosse player. On the streets, he was an edgy West Coast border bro. On the streets, he was you could find him longboarding around town wearing lots of studded arm bracelets, a backwards flat brim, and of course his chain wallet to keep all of his lunch money safe. I can also personally attest that on at least one occasion during this phase, he experimented with black eyeliner.
I had to know. I had to know. Had to be sure.
January 2006 to May 2006. Having gotten the memo about college being for learning a little bit late, it was during this very brief phase of his senior year of college that Ellis became intellectually enlightened. With only a few months before he inexplicably managed to graduate, he could be found in the bookstore buying books with pretty covers that he would never read, binge-watching documentaries, and wherever he went, he always traveled with his prized moleskin notebook, jotting down his thoughts about thinking.
2009 through 2013. Post-graduation Ellis enters party boy phase. During these years, you could find Ellis in the club, buying bottles and intermittently yelling, "Woo!" for no reason whatsoever. He was always at least 2 buttons deep and always wanted to be in charge of the playlist. Many of you here tonight are owed money as a result of this Ellis phase.
2014 to 2015, Ellis moonlights as a carpenter. In search of a satisfying hobby and some manly material for his Instagram, Ellis attends one workshop on carpentry and soon promises many people made-to-order handcrafted furniture. He set up a workbench and wood saw in his 300 square foot apartment during this phase and once invited me over for dinner, which I later realized was because he needed me to take candid photos of him sawing photos of wood in his bathroom. He got lots of likes on that one. 2015 to 2016, Ellis watches Bear Grylls and immediately becomes, in his mind, an expert survivalist and skilled hunter. He bought guns, he bought trail cams, he purchased deer urine online to conceal his scent from the animals when he was out in the wild. He killed nothing. Ever. Perhaps it was because he was not a good hunter. Perhaps it was because he knew that if he did kill something, he would cry like a baby and lie down to die next to it.
2016 to present day Ellis. Ellis meets Allie. Ellis dresses like a normal person. Ellis gets a case for his iPhone. He can be found in Vermont with his bride-to-be, working his dream job. It's clear that this is not a phase, and likely the end of all phases, as Ellis is finally content and at ease with who he is, who he's with, and where he's headed. Which brings us to Allie, the person who, since they met, has brought out the best version of Ellis that you see here today. Which I'm sure you thought was the closure to the speech, but Allie, my dear, the story of this transformational love would not be complete without a brief telling of your own evolutions.
Yes!
Many of you may not know this, or in fact ever would guess it, but Allie was once a member of the Geek Squad. She rocked a khaki uniform while driving around making the world a better place, one tech support issue at a time. Allie was once herself somewhat of a fashionista as well, and was way ahead of her time when, in high school, she created the Glitterati, an online fashion blog. Now living in Vermont, Allie is exploring her inner outdoors woman, complete with lots of Patagonia gear and one bad case of Giardia.
So there's a lot more that we could say about these two, but I think you guys get the idea. Allie, it has been so nice to watch Ellis finally find his point of equilibrium with you and his home with you. So while we're sad that the entertainment from these various evolutions seems to be over, we couldn't be more excited for the both of you as you head into this next phase together. we packed these 2 bags for you because we think that it should basically have everything you need for your next adventure together. And it's also likely the only wedding gift you're going to get from Jon. We wanted to make a toast, so everybody raise your glasses to Ellis and Allie, and as Ellis used to say as a kid, to your life!
Thanks, Matt. That was awesome.
To be clear, there's still we're exploring.